Assalamu alaikum. Hello dear students. I hope all of you are fine, and today I have another class with you. Previously I had taken a class from your romantic poetry, and that was from Willam Blake's one of famous poems, that is The Lamb. And today I am just continuing the same the poems of the same poet. That is, I am going to discuss another poem by William Blake, and my today's poem is the Narcissus Song. So, dear students, previous in the previous class, I have already discussed about the poetic background of William Blake. That is, he belongs to the Romantic age, and he is also considered as a transitional poet because he belongs to two different ages. That is, he started his poetic career at the later portion of the neoclassical age, and he also flourished his poetic career at the beginning of the Romantic age. But the major portion, that is the major part of his poetic career, was in the Romantic age. And most importantly, the most important fact is that the trend that he applied in his poetry, that is the characteristics of his poetry, is very much romantic. That is, he followed all the characteristics of romantic poetry, and as a romantic he is more important, or he is more prominently known for his mystic quality. Mysticism is a vital characteristic of romanticism, and William Blake is considered as a mystic poet among the romantics. So, today, our today's topic, our today's poem, Narcissus Song. This is another remarkable poem by William Blake, and this poem is also included in your syllabus, second year honors syllabus. So, in Blake's poetry, there are two sections, that is songs of innocence and songs of experience. And in many cases, you will get the pair poems. That is, the poem that is included in songs of innocence. In many cases, the poems containing the same title are also included in songs of experience. But the presentation, the theme, and also the subject matter, not the subject matter, actually the same thing is presented through a different outlook, through different perspective, in songs of experience and in songs of innocence and in songs of experience. That is, for example, we get the first or the initial poem in two sections, that is called introduction. The poem introduction is also present in songs of innocence and also in songs of experience. The title is same in both the sections, but the presentation of introduction, that is the poem introduction, in the two sections are quite different from each other. The treatment of this introductory approach of the poet is quite different from each other. In the same way, in my previous class I discussed about the poem Lamb. And in songs of experience, the Lamb has also a pair poem in songs of experience. That is, the poem is the tiger. Two animals are introduced in these two sections. Two different animals are introduced in these two sections with sharp, with very clear purposes. The two animals, the characteristics of these two animals clearly presents before us the characteristic, the sharp, different type of characteristics of these two animals. That is, in songs of innocence, the animal is the lamb, which is very much mild, which is very meek, soft natured, which is very tender, and as also very innocent. But in songs of experience, its pair poem is the tiger. And a tiger is basically a ferocious animal. It is very much cruel, it is very harsh, hard, and also it is very much ferocious. So to represent the dark side of experience, to represent the cruel and also all the negative characteristics not only the negative, actually the hard and tough characteristics of practicality of the practical world or of the experienced world are represented through the poem The Tiger. And in the same way, my today's poem, that is Nurse's Song, it has also a pair poem with the same title in Songs of Experience. That is, in both the sections you will get the poems The Nurse's Song. So with the same title, a nurse is presented. In Songs of Experience, a nurse is presented, that means a nurse's character is presented in this poem, and in the same way in Songs of Experience, in Nurse's Song, the character of a nurse is also presented. But after reading these two poems, you will notice the difference of characteristics of these two nurses. In Songs of Innocence, you will get a nurse who is very much kind-hearted, who is very much soft-hearted, who is just like a mother. That is, she has the motherly qualities. She has the fascination towards the children. She is very much lovable. She is a loving character, and all her attitude towards the children, towards the little children, are just like the attitude of a mother towards her own child. But in Songs of Experience, when you will meet the nurse in Songs of Experience, that nurse is quite different from the nurse of Songs of Innocence, because she is very much dutiful, she is very much hard, she is very much strict, and she is also very straightforward. She does not know to compromise with any situation. She doesn't have any emotional attachment with the children. She is mechanical, and her relationship with the children is just the professional relationship. That is, she was not emotionally attached with the children. That actually happens in the practical world, in the world of reality, in the mature world. And that type of a nurse is presented in Songs of Experience. So here in Nurse's Song, at first the title of this poem is Nurse's Song, and I think you know what does a nurse means. And basically we think that a nurse is a person who usually serve in the hospitals to attend the patients. But here the nurse does not stand for that type of hospital attendant to attend the patients. Rather, this nurse means the governess. You know, in the Western countries, usually the little children, the infants, they are taken care of by the governess, professional and trained governess. And usually the mothers are not so trained or so efficient to take care of the little children or the infants, and they think that the authority think that it is better to take care of the children by the professional nurses, by the professional governess. It will be better for the babies, for the infants. And you know, in the Western countries there is no joint family, or the tradition of joint family is not common in the Western culture. That's why it is quite impossible for a new mother to take care of an infant without any previous experiences. That's why the trained nurses or the trained governesses, they have the responsibility to take care of the little children, and they are considered as the nurse or the governess. So here a nurse stands for the governess who usually take care of the children, little children. And Nurse's Song, it stands for the conversation or the expression or the attitude of a nurse. That means a governess. So what the nurse said, what the nurse replies, what the nurse reacts at the uh, at any kind of urge of the children, how does she associate with the children, how does she contact with the children, how does she converse with the children. That is, a nurse's attitude to the children, towards the children, is presented here through the poem Nurse's Song. So dear students, I have already mentioned that here you will get the characteristics of a nurse or a governess in this poem. And more important thing in case of this poem is that you will have to make a comparison between the two nurses in these two sections. That is, whenever you will go through this poem, you will just try to find out the characteristics of the nurse, what type of person she is in Songs of Innocence, and what type of person the nurse is in Songs of Experience. So if you can just make a comparative study between these two nurses, then it will be better for you to have a better understanding of these poems. So you will try to represent the characteristics of the nurse after reading this poem. So let's start the poem and we will try to find out what is the nature of this nurse in Songs of Innocence. So the lines in this poem go in the way: when the voices of children are heard on the green and laughing is heard on the hill, my heart is at rest within my breast and everything else is still. So this is the utterance of the nurse, that is the governess who has the responsibility of taking care of the children. This nurse is saying so. She is uttering such type of expression. She is giving such type of expression. These are the expression of this nurse. So she is saying, when the voices of children are heard on the green, that means the little children, they are very much fond of game and playing, and they love to play outside. They love to play on the open field, in the core of green nature. So the little children, all the little children, when they are enjoying themselves in the open field, in the core of green nature, and they are expressing their happiness, their rejoice. At that time, the voice of the happy voice of the children make the nurse consoled. The nurse says, when the voices of children are heard on the green, that here green stands for the green nature, that is in the core of nature. When children are playing in the open field, in the close touch of nature, and laughing is heard on the hill, that means you will notice another point, that in Songs of Innocence, the background or the setup of all the poems are in the core of nature. And this is very basic point about Blake's poetry, that is in every poems of Songs of Innocence, he makes a setup or the background of these poems. All these poems in Songs of Innocence is in a rural situation, is in a rural nature, is in a rural area. So nature is very much common in all the poems of Songs of Innocence. And on the other hand, when you will read the poems of Songs of Experience, you will see that in maximum cases the setting of those poems are in the urban areas. So this also represent the sharp contrast between these two sections, that is Songs of Innocence. Innocence are very much or very closely associated with nature, and experience is closely associated with artificiality, that is the urban life, that is the urban nature. So here the nurse says, when she listened to the laughing sound of the children, of the happy children, when they enjoy themselves in the hills, in the green hills, in the open field, and they express their happiness, this happy sound, the sound of their laughter, make the nurse also happy. And she says, my heart is at rest within my breast and everything else is still. Just at that moment, just when I received the happy sound of the children, the laughing sound of the children, my heart gets rest. I feel very much consoled. I become very much satisfied with the happy sound of the children. That is the ultimate expectation of the nurse. Just like a mother, as a mother who is always very much eager to see the situation that her children are happy, her children are full of joy, full of happiness, and this is only this is the source of all of our happiness. In the same way, this nurse with a motherly heart, she also feels that when the children are happy, when they are enjoying themselves, when they are very much satisfied and they express the outburst of their happiness, that sound also makes her very much consoled, and she gets the mental peace, and she feels that everything surrounding her is quiet. That is the quietness of peace. Then in the second stanza the poet says, then come home. That is, this is the utterance of the nurse also. Then come home, my children, the sun is gone down, and the dews of night arise. Come, come, leave of play, and let us away, till the morning appears in the skies. As the nurse is the governess of these children, so she is also caring about the safety of the children. She is also caring about the health of the children. So this is also her duty to return back all the children at home just before the sunset, because after sunset everywhere there will be the darkness of night, and that will not be safe for the children. And at the same time, when it will be sunset, the dews will also arise, and that will not be safe for the children to be outside home, because they may catch cold. So the nurse, being very much careful about the health of the children, she is inviting all the children with love and affection. She is inviting the children that the sun is gone down. That means it is just before the sunset. The sun has already gone down, and very soon darkness will appear everywhere, and the dews of night arise. Just the night is coming. That's why dews will arise, and it may make you sick. So you must be very much careful, and you must come inside the house. So she says, come, come, leave of play. Please leave off your play for today, and let us away till the morning appears in the skies. That is, please stop your game, leave off your game just till the next morning. For the night you will have to come inside the house, and you will have to take rest, you will have to sleep, and that will be better for you, better for your health. And you will just leave off your game and play just for the next morning, just till the next morning, and at the next morning you will be allowed again, you will be allowed to play outside. So this is the loving approach of the nurse, caring approach of the nurse towards the children. Then in the third stanza we find, no, no, let us play, for it is yet day, and we cannot go to sleep. Besides, in the sky the little birds fly, and the hills are all covered with sheep. And this stanza is uttered by the children. That is, this is the reply of the children, as the nurse is inviting, as the nurse is requesting all the children to come inside house. So in response to the invitation of the nurse, they are saying so. The children, they are replying to the nurse that no, no, this is just their what should I say, they are requesting repeatedly, they are requesting the nurse to allow them to play a little longer. This is also the usual practice, common practice for all the children. Children usually don't want to leave off their game. They want to continue it for longer and more longer time. So when they are asked to leave off their game, to stop their game, they usually, for the first time, they are not ready to do so. and they try to linger it. They try to request their guardian for several times to let them play for some more time. So in the same way, these children, they are also replying that they are also requesting the nurse to let them play, for it is yet day. This is the excuse, that is, they are making that they are giving the excuse to the nurse that we should be allowed to play outside for some more time, because yet it is not quite dark. And they also provide the examples from the nature, that the other natural creatures, just for example the birds, for example the sheep, they are till now they are outside, they are in the nature, and they are roaming about in the nature. They are free. They are not yet captured within at their home. So as they are free, to roam about in the nature and to enjoy themselves, so why shouldn't we? This is the excuse of the children. So they are giving the examples from the other natural creatures, and they are saying that as the birds are flying yet, as the sheep are grazing yet, so we should also be allowed to play outside for some more time. So after this request of the children, what is the reaction of the nurse? As we have already heard, as we have already known, that this nurse is very much soft-hearted, she is very much kind-hearted, she is considerable, and she is very loving towards, she is very much affectionate towards the children, and she is closely associated, she is emotionally attached with the children. So we can easily guess that obviously the nurse's answer will be positive, that will be in affirmative. So let's see. Well, go and play till the light fades away. So the usual or the common answer in such a situation, from such a person, this answer is expecting. This type of answer will come. This is very much obvious. So as she is very much motherly, as she is very much soft-hearted, so she accepts all the requests from the children, and she allows them to play outside. She allows them to play outside for some more time. So she says, well, go and play till the light fades away. That is, you are permitted to play outside, but be careful that the time will be till it is quite dark. That means you are permitted to play outside up to the point when it will be quite dark. That is, when it will be quite dark outside, then you must come back at home. You must come inside the house, because that will be not safe for you. So she again says, and then go home to bed. And this is the usual practice, this is the usual routine for the children, that is, they will return home, they will do their everyday activities, the common activities, daily activities, and after that they must go to bed. And little ones laughed and shouted and laughed. That is the reaction of the children when they are that is, when their request is granted by the nurse. So this will be the outburst of their pleasure. They are very much happy. They are expressing the happiness through this type of expression, that is, they are laughing out of excitement, out of happiness. All the children, they are jumping up and shouting out of excitement, out of happiness. As they have become successful, they are shouting loudly and laughed. That means out of happiness they are laughing loudly, and all the hills echoed, and the whole nature, all the hills, all the nature is echoed. That means the happiness, the laughter of the children, the happiness of the children, the joyful sound of the children is echoed through everywhere, is echoed in the nature, in the core of nature. That means nature also becomes very much happy with the happiness of the children. When children are happy, everywhere the laughter, the sound of joy, the sound of happiness is echoed from every side, from every corner of nature. That means if the children are happy, nature is also happy. If they are gloomy, if they are sad, nature will also be sad. So children, they are the, we can say that they are the they are the life of nature. They are the life giving source for nature. And when they are spontaneous, when they are happy, when they are joyful, nature is also spontaneous, nature is also happy, nature is also joyful. So the poet says that their happiness is reflected, their happiness is echoed through nature. So this is all about this poem, and after reading this poem we come to know that there is a very close relationship, there is an intimate relationship between the nurse and the children. The nurse is emotionally attached with the children. She has a very close connection with the children. She can understand the mind of the children. She can understand every sentiment of the children, every single emotion of the children, and she also responds in that way. She is never harsh towards the children, but it is not that she does not follow any kind of routine or any kind of rules and regulations. Rather, she is much more safe for the children. She is much more benevolent for the children. She is much more, what should I say, she is much more caring for the children. She is much more beautiful for the children. And whatever routine or whatever rules and regulations she made the children to follow, everything she did, everything she does in a very positive way. The children never feel that they are guided by someone, they are instructed by someone, or someone is motivating them, or someone is always on them to instruct them, to guide them, or to restrict them. They never feel any kind of restriction from the nurse's part. Rather, they always feel them free, and they love their governess. They love their nurse. They have always they have the faith that the nurse will accept, or the nurse will grant all of their what should I say, request. That is, if they have the courage, they have the grudge, uh, they have the easy access towards the nurse. They never ever hesitate to express their emotion, to express their willing, to express their longing before the nurse. So they can easily express all of their expectation, all of their request before the nurse, and they are also very much confirmed that the nurse will accept all of their uh, request. And there is a very easy and very spontaneous relationship between the nurse and the children. The children, they also love the nurse, they respect the nurse, and they have very positive confidence towards the nurse. On the same way, in the same way, the nurse has also a very close and intimate relationship with the children. She cares about the children, she loves the children, and she takes care of the children for their own good. Never ever she is indifferent, or she is harsh or hard towards the children. She makes them dutiful, but in a very loving way, in a very easy way, and also in a way that is very much joyful and acceptable towards the children. So the nurse in Songs of Innocence the nurse in Songs of Innocence is a motherly nurse. She is kind hearted, she is very soft natured, and she is very much caring towards the children. She understands that every children, and she is very close to each and every children. And when you will read the poem in Songs of Experience, that is Nurse's song in Songs of Experience, then you will get a different character, a different type of nurse that really match with the experienced person. So dear students, this is all about my today's class. I hope you will obviously read the poem, you will go through the lines, you will read the text, and you will try to understand the poem. At the same time, you will try to make a better understanding about the characteristics of this nurse in Songs of Innocence. So again, dear students, take care and stay safe at home, and hopefully we will be very soon together in the regular classroom in our college. Till then, thank you.